Gerco Van Deventer was reportedly abducted while working as an on-site paramedic in Libya in 2017. Now, his wife is still keeping the hopes alive for his safe return. And of course, you'd remember the story is surfacing again after a video was circulating just recently of her husband, just doing the rounds, pleading for assistance. Let's speak to Shereen now, who joins us live now. Shereen, thank you so much for your time this evening. What was it like seeing the latest video?
It was a bit of a shock to start off with, but as always, it is quite lovely getting a video of my husband. So yes, and he looked well. So yes, it's a pleasant surprise, and it's always very positive and encouraging to get new videos, the proof of life videos of my husband.
And for you, looking at him, and you say that he looks well, does that bring you some kind of relief?
Absolutely, a lot of relief, really, because in the previous video, you'll notice he had on quite a shabby clothes, and he didn't look very clean. Now he looks all nice and clean, head shaved, clean outfit on, and so that is very positive for us as a family.
Does it make you miss him more?
Oh, what a question. Yes, it does. Very much so. It reminds me of before he left, looking so handsome. But yes, you miss him quite a bit more now than you did before. It's becoming more real.
Let's talk about, that moment when you parted with him, and some of the conversations you would have had with him when, he was now not with you. What were some of the last things that you remember the two of you talking about?
Goodness, that's more than 5 years ago. No, he was in Libya at that time before he was kidnapped, and I spoke to him on the 2nd of November, the Thursday, before he left for the site he went to work at. And we just made plans for the future, what would happen next, when I'll have contact with him again. And just a very loving conversation, saying, I love you, miss you, chat to you soon, be safe. The normal things you would say to a loved one before they travel somewhere more dangerous.
And Shereen, for you, I'm going to ask you something that's probably difficult to, talk about, but pardon me for asking you. How did you tell the kids that this is what has happened? How difficult was that conversation?
I think it wasn't as difficult as the person expected, because for so long we kept it quiet, and you had to think of good reasons and excuses of why they couldn't talk to their dad. And in the end of the day, you try to keep it as truthful as possible until we had to break the news when things went to the media. You kind of have to say, okay, listen, this is the story, this is the real truth of it, and this is what's happening now. And it's quite difficult. As a parent, you're devastated to give that type of news to your child, but kids are stronger than we give them credit for, and they've got all the distractions of school and friends and family, and that really helps a lot in how they deal with these things.
Do you as a family, and I'm sure, you'll say yes to this and take us into, some of what you miss the most about him. Do you feel the gap that has been caused by his absence? I know it's possibly 5 years. You kind of tried to, close that particular gap, but talk about, some of the moments you can't spend with him.
Oh, that's every moment of every day. The gap is still there. Life goes on. I think that's the most difficult part, is because you still have to work, you still have school, there's still the kids' activities, and, just the general things you do at home. And for us as a family, it was very difficult not having him around, because you can't just talk to him. You can't share things that happened with the kids. As they grow up and get older, they do cute stuff, and getting taller. Look, Daddy, I lost a tooth. That type of thing. You can't share that with them, and that makes the gap seem even more real in daily life. But grandparents, they stepped in and they tried to fill the gap, and very thankful for all the family, my in-laws and my own family itself. They've all helped me stay strong in these 5.5 years.
What's helping you keep the hope alive? Is it the family? Is it seeing him in these videos? What for you makes you believe that you'll be reunited?
Firstly, it would be faith. And then secondly, it would be the support I've gotten from the family. And then obviously the nation. It was beautiful to see everybody just stand together, prayers and beautiful words being shared with us as a family. The encouragement you get from people constantly throughout the day, every year, every month, those things help, but just to have that mindset of stay positive. You have to stay positive. If you don't, you might just lose yourself in this spiral of the situation. And I think it's important for him to also know that we stayed positive, that we still believe he will come home.
Shereen, I know that, of course, this is a very sensitive, process that is also unfolding in terms of, the negotiating and also trying to get him back. But what can you tell us about, those talks to try and see if he can be reunited with all of you?
There's not much I can really tell you in the sense of I don't really have all the finer details of what is being said. But I do know there are key role players in this negotiations that they are trying to make contact with and hoping that ends up having a positive outcome for us to get Gerco back home.
If by stroke of luck, those who have captured him are watching, what would you like to say to them?
I'd like to say to them, firstly, just thank you for looking after him for so long. That would be my first words to them, is just thank you. And, please just set him free, bring him home. We miss him. We want him. He needs to see his kids grow up. He needs to be the father that he promised us he would be. We really, really do miss him.
Shereen, thank you so much for your time. I know how difficult it is to, talk about this and your loved one, but I do appreciate it, and I'm sure the viewers do appreciate you just talking to us and how this journey has been so far for you. We do appreciate it. That was Shereen Van Deventer. She's the wife to Gerco Van Deventer, who's been kidnapped, of course, in Mali. You would have seen the videos circulating on social media. And Shereen, keeping the hope alive. And I think that is one of the most positive things to come out of this.